Hello, welcome back to my weekly vlogs. I think that this is the first time I've spoken to you in this vlog. And we're currently playing a game of, am I actually sick or is this just a flare? Yeah, I wasn't very well at all yesterday. Had a lot of pain, a lot of sickness. Went and had blood tests done and they said that I had my inflammatory markers and my infection markers were up, but they didn't think it was anything too serious. Basically, if it hadn't have been for the state of the NHS at the moment, they would have admitted me, but they were happy to let me go home, rest, with the promise that I would go back if I didn't feel any better today. Slept on and off most of today, and apart from a headache, I think I'm okay. Fingers crossed, because I'm going for Christmas dinner with Stacey tomorrow, and I'm going. Even if I have a mouthful of each course, I am going because I love Stacey. This jumper is the jumper that did I show it you in the last vlog? I at least told you about it in the last vlog. I bought this from Cancer Research and it's just me to an absolute T. You will have seen from the B-roll that you've just seen that my Christmas bookish advent calendar finally came from a book and a cuppa, which I don't know if Claire watches my videos, but thank you so much, Claire. Everybody else's seemed to arrive kind of the beginning of December, and we weren't sure if it was because of the strikes or whatever, but mine disappeared for a while. But she was fantastic, got in touch with Royal Mail and they managed to track it down and it finally got to me. So I will try and open it on camera some days if I remember. Yeah, my brain's a bit scrambled at the moment. Finally finished a book though. Not that one. That is, I don't know if you saw that, but that is my top book of the year. Video coming soon. So I finished Heidi Swain's Underneath the Christmas Tree, and I think I've settled on a 3.5 for this one because, right, for Christmassy feels, absolute 5-star. Absolute 100% 5-star. I love Weymouth as a setting. I loved Winter's Christmas Tree Farm. I loved our main character, Lizzie. Is her name Lizzie? Liza. Literally just finished reading this about half an hour ago. However, I don't know how to say this without giving spoilers, but sometimes I feel like in romance it's not really a spoiler because there's nothing in Heidi Swain's books that I think would ever like fully surprise you. But if you don't want to hear it, just come back to me when I put this book down. However, this book had one of those tropes that I just really don't like in romance. So it was obvious from day dot that Liza and Ned were 100% gonna be in each other's pants by the end of this book, which I love. Heidi Swain is very fade to black, but you know it's happening behind closed doors. So when Liza had convinced herself that Ned fancied Noah? There is a Noah in this, but Ned doesn't fancy him. Maya, and then tried to get them together. I really hate that trope when a character fancies someone and tries to push someone else to them. I don't know. It just, yeah, I liken books to shoes a lot of the time, but this was like having a really gorgeous pair of shoes that you love them and you think they're so sparkly and wonderful and you'd recommend them because they look gorgeous. But then as you're wearing them, there's just something that rubs your toes. So it brings your enjoyment level down. It doesn't mean that you'll stop wearing them. But yeah, that's how I felt about this one. So I think, I'm not sure if I've won 3.5 or 4 stars on that one. But like I say, for the festive feels, 100% 5-star, and if that trope wouldn't bug you, then very interesting read. There were some really great little nuggets in this of both of Heidi's other series. There were nods to Winthrop Hall and Nightingale Square, but actually I didn't feel like in this one. Sometimes I think with Heidi Swain's books, I've said to people before that I always read them in order. There are little nuggets and little Easter eggs, like I've said before, like if you read the 5th book in the series, it might say Tom and Gemma were married, like Tom and her husband Gemma, Tom and her, anyway, or Lizzie and her partner Ben, or something like that, which would then give it away from the earlier books that they had got together at the end of the book. But with it being a fluffy romance, you know they will anyway, so it's not really a spoiler. Whereas this one, although there were a couple of characters mentioned from the Secret Seaside Escape, I didn't think there was anything that gave away plot points. So yeah, that was a really long ramble about that. Really enjoyed it, but that trope just put me off a little bit. But Heidi Swain is still the queen in my eyes. I also read Goodbye Mog. Now, I'm trying to collect the Mog books because I absolutely love Mog as a character. I hadn't read this book and it made me cry. So, but I mean, you can tell from the title, Goodbye Mog, what is going to happen in this one. And I thought that this was a really nice book to teach kids about grief. It was beautiful. It was just, I can't even look at the first page without feeling choked up. But yeah, Goodbye Mog was a good book. I also DNF'd a book. I DNF Christmas Shopaholic. I wanted to give it a go. I wanted to read it just to wrap up the series in my head. But after getting, I was 146 pages. So I was there. I'd still got all this chunk to go when I've got this pile here of books that I'd like to read in December. And I just thought, although it's making me laugh and although I wanted to finish the series, Becky Bloomwood is a horrible person. Like, I feel like when I was reading Becky Bloomwood in my 20s with a bit of a shopping problem myself and as a single... No, I wouldn't have been in my 20s when I was reading it because I read all of these pretty much before I met Tom. So in my teens, Becky was the kind of woman that I looked up and wanted to be. But now reading this as a 32-year-old, I think she's horrible. I think that she's selfish. I think that she never gets any comeuppance for the way she is. I don't like the way that her sister Jess is made fun of for being eco and anti-consumerism, because I feel like I like Jess a lot more. I hate the way that she treats Luke. And yeah, so I decided to DNF that one. I also had some book mail, which again, I thought I'd share with you. So can I hold this up without... So basically, I got a little package from Book Break. I'll show you the book in a minute. But it also had a winter warmer tea, some Christmas stickers and some little candy canes, which I thought was very cute. And this is Charlotte Levin's If I Let You Go. Now, this is out in March, so I'll be hoping to read this in February. And yeah, it just sounded right up my street. It's meant to make me cry, I think. It says, can the past ever be left behind? Every morning, Janet Brown goes to work cleaning offices. It calms her. Cleanliness, neatness, all the things she's unable to do with her soul can be achieved with a damp cloth and a splash of bleach. However, the guilt she still carries about a devastating loss that happened 11 years ago never goes away. Then Janet finds herself involved in a train crash, and recognising the chance to do what she couldn't all those years ago, she makes a decision. As news spreads of Janet's actions, her story inspires everyone around her, and for the first time her life has purpose and the future is filled with hope. But Janet's story isn't quite what it seems, and as events spiral out of control, she soon discovers that coming clean isn't an option. But if Janet washes away the lies, what long-buried truths will she finally have to face? And the praise is compelling, heartfelt and superb. I just realised this comes out on my wedding anniversary. So yeah, I'm going to read that. I do have another Charlotte Levin book. I have If I Can't Have You lingering somewhere on my TBR. But yeah, thank you so much to Book Break for sending me that. It is out in hardback, audiobook and ebook on the 2nd of March next year. And hopefully I will have read it before then and let you know what I think of it. And then the lovely Victoria also sent me some books, and in her note she said, sorry for not sending these sooner. Victoria, I have a stack of books down there for you. I have a box for your classroom and then a stack for you, so I can't say anything. But the first one she sent me was The Wife Between Us by Greer, Hendricks and Sarah Pekkennan. I've read 2 of their books now. I've read An Anonymous Girl and You Are Not Alone, and really, really enjoyed both of them. Now, people have said to me before that this book is really fat phobic, but I really wanted to read it for myself, but obviously didn't want to purchase it. So when I saw that Victoria was unhauling it, I said, yes, please. There is also, I also have their newest book on my TBR. So yeah, I'll hopefully get to that one soon. Then Victoria was also unhauling Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? I think she said that it wasn't for her. I really like that illustration though. That's pretty cool. I've only read one Sally Rooney. I read Normal People, but really enjoyed it. So, yep. I don't really know what to say about that. And then this last one is one that, until I heard Victoria talk about it, I don't think I would have ever just picked this one up of my own accord. And that is The School for Good Mothers. Obviously, I am not a mother. I have no intentions of becoming a mother. And yet, it's still intrigued me because it's more of a kind of commentary on how women are treated. And I mean, it says at the top, destined to be a feminist classic, which I love that for it. And so I will pop them on my overflowing TBR shelves. Like I say, I don't really know how the rest of this week is going to pan out with not being very well, but I'm hopefully going to have Christmas dinner with Stacey tomorrow, and then just work on getting myself feeling a bit more chipper before the festive season. I'm not really doing much for Christmas. I'm not really a big Christmas fan, in the sense that I don't like how commercial it's become. I like the food. I don't like crowds, so I don't really like, I mean, I used to love going places and like having mulled wine and mulled cider, and I used to love going to the Black Country Museum, but as I've become more and more unwell physically, not knowing where the nearest toilet is always an issue, and obviously there's always a queue for the ladies, so the more people that there are, the more it worries me. I do have a radar key, but again, there's usually only 1 or 2 disabled toilets, so just having a radar key doesn't always mean that there won't be a queue for the disabled toilets. Am I going to talk about toilets in every vlog? Probably. We may go out somewhere and have a festive drink at the weekend. Who knows? Oh, and for those of you asking, Nana is a lot better. Yeah, it seems that it's me that's unwell now, but we have found a YouTube playlist. I will link it below, where there's like 3 hours of Christmas carols, and so she's been singing along to them and absolutely loving it. She seems to be eating a little bit more. We can always get a mince pie down her. She has spoken, folks. The Iceland luxury mince pies are what a proper mince pie should be like. And yeah, don't know how much you'll see from me this week, but this is already 15 minutes long, so there will be a vlog. It just depends how much you see. I, again, try and have some B-roll. I will try and show you me opening my advent calendar. And yeah, it's going to be a much more chilled week this week. It is Sunday evening. I've got dinner cooking. I've got 20 minutes. And I just went to kind of edit this vlog and realised that I hadn't actually wrapped it up. It's been a really up and down week with not being well, but I think I'm coming out the other side of it. I think I said the last time I spoke to you, from now on, it is illegal for anybody with a chronic illness to be normal person sick as well. I mean, look at my bruise. That is from a blood test. It's ridiculous. Shout out, if anybody watches this that knows where I live, or works at my doctor's surgery, then shout out to the healthcare assistants that take my blood there, because I never bruise when they do it. Have my bloods done once at the Royal and then end up with a bruise like that. Anyway, not complaining a little bit. So firstly, I wanted to wrap up the books that I've finished this week, and the first one that I have finished is Not My Type by Evie Mitchell. I read this as part of Disability December, and while I will say I would give it a 5-star on the disability rep, 5-star on the disability rep, and some of the sex scenes, I mean, if we're going on spice level here, think what the hottest. I mean, I really need to start rating these in like chilies. So this is a 5 chili book on some of the sex scenes. It's a very short book and there is a lot of sex in it. However, on some of the other sex scenes, I cringed. At one point, she refers to him as Prince of her kitty cat. And I can't. I don't like that word. I can't say that word in this context. Yeah, so we'll just gloss over that one. But I did think that the disability rep was excellent. There was a lot of good consent discussions in this, and I liked how, I really hate when people say that condoms ruin the mood, because in this one, it was mentioned every time that he put on a condom or he reached for a condom, and it didn't take you out of the story at all, which 10 out of 10 for that. But we're rating this as a 3-star because it just made me cringe at points. I would say if you're a seasoned romance reader and you can put up with it being toe curling and not in a good way, then read this one, because the disability rep, fantastic. But if you're just starting to dip your toe into romance, don't read this, it would put you off. I also read Santa's High-Tech Christmas, which I don't think I've shown you this year, but I've definitely shown you in years before. I have a little selection under my tree of kids' Christmas books, which I read every year. And this was a new one that I added to my collection only yesterday. This was £2 from the Rainbow's Hospice shop in Loughborough. And basically, Santa decides that he's not going to write a list anymore. He's going to use, I mean, it doesn't say an iPad, it just says Technopad, but it's basically an iPad, and things don't go to plan. Illustrations are beautiful. I really enjoyed that one. So that's going under my tree with my collection of other books. I wasn't going to say anything here, but I'm nothing if not honest with you, and I am really struggling with my body image at the moment. I bought a dress from Vinted, and it's a Lindy Bop dress, and I know that Lindy Bop can come up a bit small, but still, this dress is a size 18 and it ain't going up. It's nowhere near going up. I know I shouldn't have tried it on when I've been bloated from this. They think that I may have had a partial blockage again. So I know that I was just setting myself up to be disappointed, but it's just left me feeling really kind of disconnected with my body again at the moment. And I think it's also made me want to talk about the kind of grey area when it comes to fast fashion and consumerism, because I, at a size 18-20, am still on the smaller end of the plus size spectrum, and I do struggle to find secondhand especially if I've got a specific occasion. Like last year when I went to Corfu, I ended up buying a lot of clothes from Simply Be because I was feeling really unconfident about my body. It was getting closer and closer to the holiday, and I was struggling to find things that A, fit, and B, made me feel comfortable. I have real issues with like itchy tags and certain fabrics and things, so it's not always easy to buy off. I mean, Vinted and Depop are great. I buy a lot from them, but it's not always easy when there's something specific I'm looking for. And this year I was looking for a Christmas Day outfit. Now, I have now purchased something from Sainsbury's, which I felt really guilty about, but I think this is where the grey area comes, because I personally do share these memes as well that say, you know, if everyone bought their Christmas outfit secondhand this year, we'd save however many tons, and that's great if you are straight sized. It's also great to say rewear what you wore last year if that fits you, but if you're like me and your body goes up and down all the time, I'm not comfortable in what I wore for Christmas last year. I mean, I haven't been out partying or anything. I haven't had to buy any party dresses this year. But if I had have had like a works Christmas deal or something, my two options this year would have been wear something that was tight and uncomfortable or buy myself something new, because I've been looking, I mean, I haven't been in the charity shops as much as I usually do, but having looked around the past couple of weekends, even if I was going to buy something, I wouldn't have been able to get anything in my size. Another problem that I have, I'm not very well endowed in the chest area, and a lot of plus size clothes, and this is new as well, seem to think that the bigger you get, the bigger your chest gets. So anything that's too low cut, I wouldn't wear. And I know this, and yet I've been watching a lot of fantastic secondhand shoppers on Instagram, but there's been a couple that I've watched that are kind of size 8, size 10, and they've been talking about how there's all this fantastic stuff in charity shops and there's no need to buy new. And I don't think, you know, when I see them trying on 10, 15 charity shop dresses that all look fantastic, it's like, that is not the reality for all of us. And I guess it will only get worse the bigger someone is. Like I say, I'm an 18 to 20, so I'm firmly in that kind of middle ground where straight size shops do sometimes still go up to my size. And that's another thing. It's also on the quality of clothes being gifted. And so if you're someone at an 18 or 20 who even in fast fashion shops struggles to get things that fit you, you're going to hold on to those things that do and not be passing them on to charity shops. So yeah, it's just another thing that I think there's a grey area that's not always talked about. So as I mentioned, I have been to the charity shops. This afternoon we went to Colville. Now, Colville is pretty rubbish on a Sunday. There is a handful of shops open, and it makes me kind of sad for the town because I think it's a vicious circle. It is a vicious circle that you want to encourage people to come to the town, but a lot of the big shops aren't open. Not that there's many big shops, but like Boots isn't open. Most of the charity shops aren't open. The independent coffee shop's not open anymore. And then on the flip side, because there's nothing to do, you won't be bringing people in. I think there's a lot that needs doing to regenerate the town. And I love Colville, I really do. I see why people don't like the fact that there's a lot of charity shops there, but as you know, I do like that. However, when we go in on a Sunday, I'm always a little bit apprehensive because the public toilets are closed on a Sunday. So we always end up going to Costa so that I can get the toilet code and use their toilets if I need to. I do always buy a drink, so that's fine. But the British Heart Foundation and the YMCA shop are open on a Sunday. Now, I'm pretty sure that nobody that works at that YMCA watches my videos, but I absolutely love them in that YMCA. All the staff and volunteers there are so friendly. Always have a good chat with them. So actually, let's start with what I bought in the YMCA. I did buy some books, but I'm not going to be showing you them because they're not actually books that are to be added to my TBR. They're books for a kind of secret project for next year, so not going to talk about them here. But I bought this set of bookends, and these were £3. And let's show them you from there. It says Teddy Tales. They're very heavy, so I think they're like properly vintage, but I can't see any like markings on them for what they are. And so yeah, they're the two bookends, and aren't they just gorgeous? £3 for the pair of those. Cannot complain. I love me a vintage bookend. And then I do want to have a bit of moan about the British Heart Foundation. Now, British Heart Foundation are a fantastic charity. They do fantastic things. However, I used to have a friend that was a manager of a British Heart Foundation shop, and she used to tell me that a lot of their pricing is not set by them. It's set from like a company standard, and they have a pricing structure, which I get, but that doesn't explain some of the things that I see in the British Heart Foundation in Colville. For example, we had a rail of dresses, and there was a Primark dress for £7, and then a brand new with tags Lindy Bop dress for £9. Now, the Lindy Bop dress, had it have been my size, I would have been snapping that up. But why £7 for a Primark dress? And then again, when it came to the bags, there was a handbag that was, I can't remember what brand it was. It wasn't Primark, but it was either one of the kind of Matalan brands, or maybe even a Debenhams brand. I can't remember, but it was £15. And then sat next to it was this Cath Kidston like canvas backpack. I've been looking for a new backpack, a kind of sturdy one for when I'm travelling. I found when I was in Birmingham last week that I would have really liked to have been able to just shove a backpack on. And I didn't want one that, like, I wanted one that you could fold down and put inside another bag. And so this was perfect. And this was £10. Now, I think that's a really good deal for a Cath Kidston bag. And yet the other bag was £15, so I just don't get it. So I bought that. And then I also bought, I'm a little bit obsessed with bees. And I bought this little trinket box. This was £2.49. Now, I don't know whether this was like a seconds or whether it's hand painted, because these don't match up. Like, I've tried turning it round and I just cannot get it to match up at any point. And so I thought that was cute. And then when you lift the lid, it says underneath, sometimes the smallest things take, what does it say? Take up the most room in your heart. And I just thought that was gorgeous. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put that into my present box. I thought that would be really nice to fill with something and maybe then just tie up. But yeah, I thought that was gorgeous. So £2.49. Can't complain. So that's all from me this week. We are now heading into Christmas week. I am feeling a little bit ambivalent towards Christmas this year, I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying the Christmas food, although because I'm still feeling nauseous, I'm not enjoying it as much as I normally would. But I am really enjoying sitting with Nana and singing Christmas carols, and we're just going to have a slow one in our family this year. For the next 2 weeks, I mean, I didn't put up a video today and it's Sunday. I've got 2 top 10s of the year that I want to film. But apart from that, I'm just kind of cutting back. I had decided the other day that I was going to bin off my YouTube. I decide that regularly and then I always seem to come back. My dinner is beeping now, so I'm going to go. And I think the next video that you will see will be on Christmas Day, and that will be my top 10 adult but not romance books of the year. And then the Sunday after, you will get my top 10 romances of the year. And I hope you're looking after yourselves. If you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. And until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.